say it loudly, and I say it proudly. I had rather make money by dealing pot, illegal drugs, or peddling illegal steroids to muscleheads who go to the gym, who like me want to be hot. I had rather do this than I had to try to start my own grassroots business, being one of the despicable middle class, with all the government red tape, with all the heavy taxes, with all the fees, licensing fees. America has destroyed the possibility of the pursuit of happiness for the middle class. The rich, they can afford all the red tape and the licensing fees. The poor, we got welfare, we got food stamps. We got people like Oprah Winfrey and charities given to them. Who's standing up for the middle class? I tell you what, I gotta stand up for myself. Even if I have to take a stand against all of America to do it. Because let's face it, capitalism basically is built upon the selfish nature of human beings.
In other words, for capitalism to work for everybody, including the middle class, big government, back off.
Alexis De Rocqueville once said, over a century ago, America is great because America is good. When America ceases to be good, she will also cease to be great. This is so true. Look at in the 60s, when we began our downward descent. Cries for communism. Because the poor had stars in their eyes, thinking they were going to get the take from the rich. Because nobody was helping them. And it must be done in the private sector. And the middle class, shafted by the double-edged sword. When the government takes from the rich to give to the poor, the middle class, who's giving to the middle class? When the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, what happens to the middle class? Who's looking out for them? Let me explain it to you all like this. Capitalism appeals to the desire of men to better themselves. The pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. But capitalism, it is like a fire. Capitalism, when coupled with compassion and love for not just our fellow American, but for our fellow human being, is the fire that cooks the meal to keep the homeless from starving to death. To keep the children in Africa from dying of starvation. Capitalism, when coupled with compassion, is like a warm fire in a barrel where the homeless can gather around and keep from freezing to death. Capitalism, when coupled with love for our fellow man and faith in God, leads to a glorious form of government in a democracy, in a republic. That being said, capitalism based solely upon the selfish nature of men to get all they can and can all they get is like a fire. It is like the fire that burns down the dream home of a family and kills everyone inside. This type of capitalism is like the fires, the seething hot fires that burn so hot they melted the metal framework of the Twin Towers and brought the Twin Towers down to the ground. That kind of capitalism leads to the down and out, rising up, crying for revolution, making calls for government socialism, to take from the rich, to give to the poor, because the rich are not doing squat to help the poor, because they had no love for their fellow man. Understand? Compassion cannot be legislated by government. Anything the government gets its hands on, they screw it up. I think I don't need to mention anything, because you all have seen it for yourself. Welfare, FEMA. But capitalism, for it to work, big government, back off. Like I said, I had rather try my hand at being a drug dealer. If I do it right, the risks, the risks are there, but if I succeed, I can make boatloads of cash. Enough to help my fellow man. So what if I'm breaking the law? Screw the government when they get in my way of my capitalistic grassroots enterprises with their red tape. Me, try to open up my own small business? Hell no. Not when there's so much heartache that I have to go through just to get it started. All the licensing fees, all the government red tape. There's this guy, a friend of mine, in 1993, named Robert Heath. He opened up a video arcade. The fire marshal came in and told him he had to buy some $1,500 fire safety kit or close down. He did not last even a month. Screw you, government. Back off! We spit.